Welcome back to my ego death. I'm Halise, and I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl. Ego death update. Let's get into it. I found a job. Won't he do it? Won't he will? Hey, yeah, the last Halise Unplugged ego death video, y'all felt seen. Y'all felt very seen. And I appreciated that y'all saw me because I could see you and we could see each other and be in a commiserative, yo, what is really happening out here right now vibe. I really needed that. So thank you. Shout out to y'all for seeing me so I could see you and we could see each other. It's beautiful. I believe in that video I said, church, pray for me. I believe that y'all did. Okay. I decided to record this because I'm literally like filling out my onboarding paperwork for said job like right now. So thank you to all the prayer warriors out there. And if you weren't a prayer warrior, but you were just like, I'm sending you good energy. I'm sending you good vibes. Amen. I appreciate you too. I mean, for real, my mama was praying for me. I know for a fact. Being loved is a beautiful thing. Point of the story though. I found a job. Obviously, the first big feeling I have is gratefulness. 1000% gratefulness flowing through my heart because I am very aware, as y'all were telling me in the comments, which I also already knew because I am a human living here in this country. Ignore all that, by the way. I didn't feel like cleaning up. I used to go to a co-working space, and that's another thing about the ego death stuff that's been going on in the atmosphere. Mercury and microblades, David Spade, Lemonade, the co-working space on some stuff, and they started raising the prices, doing some craziness. I was like, oh, I gotta dip. I gotta invoke the termination on that too. So anyway, the first and foremost, the thing I feel 1000% is gratefulness, because I think from the time I officially started looking in earnest, amen, until getting the job offer, it wasn't terribly long. It was like a month, maybe. But in that month, amen, I was already making plans A, B, and J, because what did I say in the first video? Poverty's not finding me. Look, the ACL ain't what it is, but I'm a break a poverty ankle real quick and dip out. I was doing background acting for a hot second. Signed up with a little agency through Georgia, because a lot of shows are shot here. Even with everything with Hollywood. Hollywood's a mess, y'all. And got booked, amen. Got booked to do a little bit of background acting. And that was actually really fun, ? I was in background for one episode of it, basically. I think that's the neat thing about being background is you're like not responsible for anything. So it's really cool. They needed my car. So I had a little license plate, like the car's from another place or whatever. So Hefe was out there. My car's name's Hefe. Hefe was in the background too, making some moolah. At least my experience was very pleasant. But like doing background's really fun because you're around a whole bunch of actors. They're great people. So I was like, hey y'all, this is my first time doing background. And they were like, oh my God, it's your first time? You need to sign up for this agency and this, and then look at these castings. And like nobody was gatekeeping. It was just so delightful and sweet. If you want to get the full pay, you usually do have to do like anywhere from 10 to 12 hours, and they will keep you for them 12, But I was open to it. I was really considering it. I was like, I don't hate this. Another side quest I went on, almost got hired as well. Picking up people's compost. This is when it was getting into dire straits because I was like, okay, I was just kind of looking around my apartment like, yo, what are the services that I already utilize, and how do I then do those services for money? You know what I'm saying? So I like glanced over at my compost. I have compost now, which is kind of like a regional composting service here. I popped onto their website and they were indeed hiring. And so, I went through almost the entire thing with them. I did a training day where you ride along with somebody and help them pick up the compost. Like I was doing that. Amen. Honestly, don't hate this. Honestly, could do it. I actually really like the hours because it's full time, but you could still like come home and get some other stuff done. Look, I don't know if anybody's looking for anything, but compost now. I don't know what you got going on. I'm just saying. Anyway, here's the thing. I was like, wow, they've really updated these Sprinter vans. This is dope. So my dad used to drive a Sprinter van because he fixes medical equipment for a while. He did this for a couple years while I was pretty young, where he would drive to different universities across the country, and he had those Sprinter vans. And so yeah, sometimes I would have to move his van out of the back, out of the driveway and stuff for my mom so she could get out of the car, stuff like that, right? But I haven't been in one in like 15 years. I haven't been in a burner van in like 15 years. So yeah, getting in one and then seeing like, oh, they done updated these mugs. This is cool. You got a backup camera now? This is crazy. Yeah. So again, ego death. It's been a very humbling situation for me. It's been a very humbling moment in time. I know I made a short the other day where I was like, because it's raining so much here in Georgia. But anyway, I made a little like vertical video about just like doing a rowdy voiceover of like what was going on. I think I said something about a receding tide. I don't know. At the present juncture, I am in a receding tide, a tide of recedingness, and I stand by that because, like I say in that short, it can't be a rising tide raises all ships all the time. The tide is gonna rise, but it's also gotta recede. And so sometimes you're in a receding tide. You're in a tide of recedingness, and that's where I am. I'm in a tide of recedingness. And that's okay, because you're going to wait for the moon to be full for the tide to change. One thing about me is when the going gets tough, I be calling on the Lord. I be calling on the Lord. Because otherwise, who going to comfort you? Who going to comfort you? I was raised in the church. All that to say, I'm figuring it out. I'm finding the joy, and I be hitting acceptance. But it's also just been a very enlightening experience to just get an offer. I was actually talking to Mr. Hollis about this when I got the offer for the job. I was telling him, I said, I have actually never received a formal job offer, like letter, in my entire professional career. I've never gotten one. That's the wild, wild west of being a producer, like a video producer in general in life. And like being mid-career professional of someone like me. I have never this is the first time I've gotten an official job offer email. And it said like, we are going to pay you this. It will be bi-weekly. Here are the benefits you will get. Never in my wildest dreams. Hey now, this is what dreams are made of. Cause like what? Like I was really reflecting on it by the time this video comes out, I'll probably be basically 36. In my 36 years of living, all of the very legitimate production jobs I have had, like my first legitimate production job out of college, working for a little agency in Austin, it was just like, here's what we gonna pay you every week. And we'll pay you once a month. You in or nah? You in or nah? The second job, I was a contractor with her. So she was like, here's what I'll pay you every week. And then as she grew, the company grew, I got to grow with her. I was her first full-time employee. So I remember like her setting up how to pay a W-2, how to like pay someone as a W-2, and her being like, I'm like learning how to set this up for you. So what's your social again? And that was beautiful. I worked for her for 5 years and grew as a producer and a director and an editor. She really poured into me so much. I'm still so grateful to that woman. And then I started my own thing, and then I started Stumble Well, and I left. And since then, I've been very contracty. It's always been, contracts, SOWs, and other such things. So yeah, at 36, I've gotten my first official offer letter in my life. So like, if I could just encapsulate what I'm experiencing is a novelty. And I don't mean that in a condescending sense. I really don't. I just mean it in like this is what it means to be W2E again. Like I'm doing the paperwork right now on the computer and I'm like, wow, this is like so above board. Here's the board and we're above it. Like, when's the last time I had to take a drug test? Wow. Like obviously I'm going to pass, but like, when's the last time I had to the last time I remember taking a drug test for a job was when I worked at SeaWorld when I was 16 in Happy Harbor in San Antonio. That's the last time I didn't even take a drug test to work on the military base. Y'all, what's also been interesting is going through the onboarding process and seeing like the amount of questions or just reminders of like, can you legally work in this country? Are you a citizen? Like those questions. And I'm just like, do they ask you, can you legally work in the country like this many times in the onboarding process? Cause wow, like again, this is me coming from 10 years of freelance life. Even with my official jobs, I never had to prove that I could legally work in the country. Never had to do it, which I find fascinatingly inverted. And I think this is another reason why like being freelance, independent, content creator, internet, or whatever you want to call me, it's such a wild, wild west experience. Cause like I was having like the budgets I was in charge of to create content are not small, tens of thousands. Ain't nobody's checking any of that. They're just like, can you do the thing? You can do the thing. You have the metrics of whatever we're looking for. Bet. Which production in general, like video production in general is wild. So it's also just interesting to like really be with just the novelty of just truly being with like an established organization where there are structures in place for everything. Even when I was an Adobe resident, I didn't get an offer letter. It was more just like, here's the contract of what is expected. No negotiation on that. The gift is the residency, and you sign, and that's it. You know what I mean? So it's just been very interesting to be an adult for real. Like, wow, this is big time. I think for me, I'm just hopeful. I'm hopeful that I do a good job, obviously, duh. But I'm hopeful that I can. And I know this is going to sound so corporate, but it's true. I'm hopeful that I can like do well at it. Like I said, I know my mama be praying for me. I know she do. And my daddy too. They both be praying for. I know they do. I'm kind of the black sheep of the family. I'm not going to lie. Like they're proud of me as the little black sheep of the family. They are. But at the same time, they be praying for me. My sister too. All of them. I think I'd be stressing my family out actually. It's fine. Anyway, there's this thing where like you don't realize how pressed you are for real, until something aligns and then you're like, whoa, I was that pressed. At least this is how I exist and function in the world. I think maybe not everyone is like this. I think the reason why I'm able to accomplish as much as I have in life is because I am able to adapt well. And also just like be blind to how hard things are until I'm so far gone into the hard thing that I just have to finish it. Like it's too late to turn back kind of vibe. And I think that's my greatest strength is that I have that mentality of just like not blindly going forward, but just with a level of focus. Because if you look too far ahead in general, you're going to see a million reasons why you shouldn't do the thing. You know what I'm saying? And so I just kind of always am good about keeping it like, okay, I'm right here and I'm just going to look to right there. And I'm just going to do the next thing I know I need to do. You know what I mean? And there's a beauty in that, especially if you're someone who works for yourself. You kind of need that a little bit. Because if you think too logically about working for yourself, it doesn't make sense and you shouldn't do it. Just saying. But the reward of doing it is like really worth it. The curse of that is then when times are hard, you're really good at persevering and enduring things, but you don't quite realize how epically it's actually wearing you down until you actually finish it out and like release yourself from it. I stiff upper lip, you know what I'm saying? And I come from a people, not just culturally, but like generationally. Like when I look at my family line on both sides, people that have endured. Amen. I am a descendant of people that knew how to endure, and they knew how to endure with gusto. I don't really be realizing how pressed I actually am until I don't have to endure anymore. The day after I signed my offer letter, that Saturday, I like slept for 10 hours. I was just like, oh. And then on Sunday, I had so many more ideas for YouTube videos. It was like the floodgates opened in my mind. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, it'd be a cute video is this. Oh, I could vlog about this. Oh, I could go here and do. Y'all, it's crazy how much mental capacity you use up when the creativity got to be on cue and the creativity got to have an ROI. You know what I mean? For that alone, like by Monday, like again, got the offer on Friday. By Monday, I was like, yeah, this is like what I should do. This is the phase of life I need to be in. This is like good for me mentally. on many levels. You know what I'm saying? And then it was also like, okay, cool. And then you start, the finances again start making sense. And you're like, oh, now I can like plan to pay this down and figure this out and handle this. And you know, it sounds delightful to go to the beach for the weekend now. I'm not thinking about how much that costs now. I'm still like processing, leaving this version of freelance and this version of running my own thing, solopreneurship, I guess, if you will. It's one of them things, you know what I'm saying? Just living life. It's the phase I'm in. There's a peace beyond all understanding that has now rushed over me. So that being said, what's going to happen to the channel? The channel's still around. I think you will probably see a level of candor on the channel because the channel doesn't have to make money anymore. Instagram doesn't have to make money. The TikTok ain't got to make money. None of it's got to make money. So there's a level of candor that comes with that, I think. I hope. Maybe. We'll see. I'm hopeful for the future. It's a new place for me to be. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for me. Oh, I could talk about Vanguard. Damn. Yeah. So Vanguard wrapped, hit the goal, surpassed the goal. Amen. Surpassed the goal. And that's cool. Found a colorist, got them to sign their contract on that. So they're getting going. Hooked the colorist up with Edgar. They kind of did a little quick back and forth about color ideas and thoughts and meditations and affirmations in that regard. I have it set up to where if you were like waiting for your paycheck situation to come through, I do have it set up to where you can still join to get the comic, even though the Kickstarter has ended. I'm excited to just get her done. What else is going on? Y'all already know complexion law. We working on it. We getting there. It's crazy how much strain you can put on yourself when you make your creativity be the thing that has to feed you, that has to have an ROI. And not to be against that, Obviously, I enjoyed it. I did it for quite a while until it was working till it wasn't. Oh, another big one. I noticed I was starting to get more gray hair, which I'm not mad about. I'm ready for my storm era. So ready to be storm. But I was noticing I was getting more gray hair. And then literally leading up to this, I can't find where they are anymore. Like I literally, like this morning, I tried to look around and be like, where are my little grays that I had that are usually like right around here? I can't find them. Also, Mr. Halis as well. He was getting really stressed and he's like transitioning into something else now too. And some of he was starting to get a lot more. Like he was starting to get more like in his beard and like really along the side. And again, I'm down with it. Salt, pepper, fox. I think it's dope. Can't wait. But at the same time, it's like stress-induced grays, not like I'm aging gracefully grays, But now that that's happening, literally they turned back. We looked it up and we were like, oh, yeah, you can like low-key kind of reverse grays if there's stress. What? Crazy. Which I guess makes sense. Remember like when Obama went into office, he had a full head of black hair. And then like, I think after the first term, it was already like, oh, this man is stressed. That's an aside. That's a tangent that we don't need to go on. Here's the thing. Something I'd be meditating on is that like your brain allegedly your frontal cortex isn't fully bada binged until you're, what did they say? 26, 27? Let's look this up. 10 to 24 is adolescence. Although, yeah, I mean, duh. 24, you're a child. I remember that. I was already married at 24. While I'm looking for this factoid to confirm, Mr. Halis and I will have been married, again, close to when this video comes out. We'll have been married for 15 years. One of these days, we're going to do another podcast episode and actually talk through some stuff. But that's crazy, right? We're like getting up there. This marriage is getting serious. So keeping in mind that allegedly, according to the data's, at least according to the data's we're going to cite our sources. The National Library of Medicine. Your frontal cortex is more or less fully developed by age 25. So keeping that in mind, I've only been a frontal cortexian developed adult for a little over a decade. I'm a 10-year-old adult. Like I'm literally a child. I am an adult child, literally. That's the exaggerated point I was planning on making in this video. And that's why this ego death is going so well. Because when I was a 10-year-old child, amen, a lot of crazy things were happening to me physically, mentally, spiritually at 10. I think I got saved at 10. Anyway, it was a crazy time. And so now adult 10-year-old me going through it again. Cycles. All that to say, I'm Halise, endeavoring to persevere as always. And on this channel, I document my chaotic good life. Subscribe, follow, social media, all the things. Thoughts, meditations, affirmations, confirmations are welcome. Always down below. Again, thank you all for seeing me, you seeing me seeing you. Thank you for us seeing each other. All right, let's end it because I really need to finish this like paperwork. I need to finish all this paperwork. But yeah, toodles, y'all.